What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping by again, and if you are new here, thank you for clicking and coming to check out the Evo build. We did get some new stuff in the mail today, which is basically going to be the stuff we're going to be installing in the video, but let's jump over here onto the bench and I can show you what I got. So in the mail, we did get a couple of things we needed to try to wrap up more of the cleaning part of the build, getting everything replaced and new. So what we do have right here is a coolant temp sensor, because if you can see, which you can't see, give me a second. This guy right here is the coolant temp sensor. It is basically the same thing as every other connector in the world. If you look here in the middle, you do see the little click-in tab. Well, the one that I have currently on the car doesn't have that click-in tab anymore. So when you put it on, it just comes right off. So we're gonna replace that. We do have right here one more injector connector to put on because the last one broke. I do have a video on how to unpin, repin, reinstall new connectors in a prior video, so I will link that somewhere up here. And then the last things we do have is crush washers for the turbo, for the coolant and oil feed and return. Right here we got some more silicone vacuum line for the intake manifold. And this guy right here obviously is my very sad looking turbo, which is why we got these. In the last video, which again I'll link up here, we did go through and tear down the turbo, did find out that it had some shaft play. It is a little sketchy looking. There is some scoring inside the housings, which is kind of sad to me because I did spend a lot of time cleaning this compressor housing up and I was really happy with the way it was. Obviously, with having gone through all the trouble to clean the motor up, get things replaced, new seals, all that, I don't want to go ahead and risk possibly having a turbo at 10,000 million RPMs blow up on me and send metal all through the intercooler. So I actually put out a story on my Instagram after I realized the turbo was kind of not in the best shape, just saying, does anybody either want to buy me a new center housing for my turbo, or does anybody have an Evo turbo for sale? Turns out a guy who I follow, he follows me, we chat a lot. He lives down in Florida. He's doing an Evo build and actually ended up having his 16G6 turbo from his Evo that he has since upgraded with a bigger one. And he immediately was like, yeah man, I'm down to help. He sold it to me for a really good price, got it packaged up, shipped up later that week, and it should be arriving today. It is in much better shape. There's no broken bolts in any of the housings. So honestly, I'm pretty excited about a really nice guy coming through, trying to help out the world. He does have a bunch of other Evo parts that are like stock from the car. If anyone does need any, I think he is willing to part out and ship what he does have. I will put like on the screen, I'll flash up a screenshot of his Instagram account. So want to follow him. Maybe if we get the video to like, I don't know, 100 likes or something, maybe we can bully him into starting his own channel and putting up content of his car, because it's a pretty sick car. But with that, we're gonna jump back over here and start trying to install all the stuff that I did get while we do wait for the turbo to show up. Okay, so I 100% would much rather replace silicone vacuum lines before doing electrical connectors, but since I hate the connectors, we're gonna do that first. Like I said, I did link up a video earlier that does show how to depin and do all that stuff with connectors, so I am probably gonna try to fly through this. This guy right here, this is the broken coolant temp sensor. I don't know if I'd be able to focus on it, but you can see there's no tab on this little guy right here. So I'm gonna just take my picks, get down in there, try to release the actual terminals, and I'm hoping the terminals will be in good enough shape that I don't have to worry about trying to repin them. This is not an injector connector where it doesn't matter where the wires go, so I am going to take note of which hole the yellow goes in, which hole the black goes in, and then I'm going to line them up as they should be. Okay, so if we are looking at the connector from above with this push piece right here, the left side is the yellow wire. So in the new one, which I'm going to grab, it will be the exact same. So it's just going to be easy to know. Yellow on the left, black on the right. No! Alright, so I've got that guy off. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see, connectors got just a little mangled up trying to remove them, so I'm just going to go ahead, cut these off, strip some wire down and repin them, just so I know that they're in better shape. But I'll probably throw that on the time lapse real quick and get that done. just like that, got this guy repinned. And just like we said before, if you're looking at the connector from the top, it's gonna be yellow on the left, black on the right. Yellow on the left, black on the right. So I'm gonna click one at a time. Hopefully they just go right in, no problem. All right, both clicked in, nice and tight. And just like that, coolant temp can now be plugged in. So with that, it just kind of leaves our injectors, which I can go grab the connector and get these connected. Okay, so we do have our connector, and what I am not gonna forget this time that I forgot last time was this guy right here has to be put on over the terminals before we put the connector together. So I'm gonna throw this over, send these guys through. Should probably do that one at a time. All right, and like I said before, unlike the connector for the coolant temp, these guys, doesn't matter which one they go in, it just has to go in one of the holes. All right, so I got them clicked in. Get this guy over, call it a day. And that is all she wrote. Thank God, because I hate doing injector connectors. Or just, honestly, I hate doing electrical work at all. Okay, so we're on the other side of that. We got that all taken care of. We repinned the new terminals for the coolant temp sensor, got that temp sensor put in. That's all set. Finally got the new injector connector on because I didn't forget that little piece. And now we can finally push forward with trying to continue with the silicone vacuum lines on the intake manifold. So I'll show you right now what we're working with. So to be transparent, in hindsight, it probably would have been a better idea to not connect the wiring harness so I could have more room to work. But honestly, I'm not gonna re-go through and take the pins out of all these injector connectors to remove them. But what we are gonna be doing is removing these two lines right here, this guy right here, here, and here with some new silicone lines. I have done a video in the past on that, on how to splice them in, cut them, connect them. So I will link that up here if anyone's interested. But to be honest, if you have a brain, you can probably cut hoses with a hose cutter and reinstall new hoses. So I'm gonna throw it on time lapse, jump on it, and get this done so we can keep moving to the next thing. All right, so we got that done. It took a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna take just for a bunch of hoses. It was mostly because of the clamps, but we are gonna go ahead, keep moving forward. One of the things that I did wanna get done in this video was try to get the battery tray reinstalled, which involves taking care of the connectors over in like the thermostat housing and battery area. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're working with and what we gotta do. So it's honestly kinda hard because I don't have any of my pictures anymore that I took of all the connectors, all the connections for vacuum lines. So I'm kind of trying to like Google search, use pictures from my friends' cars, try to figure out what goes where. So with this guy right here, obviously this clicks onto here, but I was waiting until I was ready to finally click it on. This guy right here goes to the front sensor on the thermostat housing. This dude right here is gonna connect in with this guy right here. And then this is the new connector that we just put on, which would click in right back here and then into the coolant temp sensor. What I do have to do is this guy right here connects into this bracket, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and sand this down and repaint it so we can finally get it looking nice, so it's not gonna look like crap in front of all this nice new stuff. So we're gonna go over to the bench, jump on grinding this down, throw some rust reformer on there, we'll call it a day. Remember, make sure you wear safety equipment when working with rust. Okay, I know what all the hardcore homies are thinking out there. They're thinking like, look at this guy wearing this crazy mask setup with glasses for this tiny little piece. But I can tell you from experience, I have done just the tiniest amount of rust removal without wearing any kind of protection, and it always gives me some kind of weird cough for like the whole rest of the next day. And I don't want to deal with that, so that's what you wear. Honestly, you really should if you're working with rust. But we got that all set. You can see in the time lapse we got the rust removed for the most part. It does need some rust for the reformer to be able to bond to it. And then we threw a coat of reformer on there, gonna let that dry, and then we'll go back and finish the other side. With that though, we're gonna move on to the next thing we're gonna have to do, which is going to be taking this tape off, blocking off the holes for the valves, and we're gonna try to clean up this mating surface a little bit. Most of the rest of the motor has been degreased and cleaned up. Some of it, you can see it's just faded over time. It's kind of nasty. Probably will go through here again though, try to get a little bit more off, but I'm gonna go ahead, jump on this. And coming in for the other side. Okay, so I got all the tape off, got the valves stuffed with some paper towels, obviously clean paper towels to keep anything out of there. Up in this section up here, I am gonna go ahead and use degreaser and a brush to just gently by hand remove all that stuff. This stuff on here though, where the mating surface is, we do not want to be using metal brushes for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some more degreaser, but I'm gonna use a really fine grit sandpaper just to gently get that off of there so that we're not scoring it, not taking chunks of metal out, so that we know everything's sealing properly. So I'll throw it on a time lapse, we'll get cleaning on this. And just like that, it's all cleaned up. You can go ahead and take a look. So as you can see, we got it all cleaned up. Obviously, I did not go super hard here. Obviously, there's still a little bit that's left behind, but that's fine. It's all smooth. It doesn't need to be brand new. I don't want to be taking off too much material. Not that a really fine grit sandpaper will, but you know, don't want to mess it up too much. Luckily, any of the old gasket material that was left behind kind of just dissolved with the degreaser, and I was able to get that off pretty easy. Went ahead and tried to clean up down here a little bit, and with that, stuff some new paper towels in, and I'll let that sit for a little bit. Next thing we're gonna move on to is that bracket. It mounts up right here. This is the finished product. It's honestly not much to see. It's just not rusty. It's now black. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on there so I can get the connectors all in place, and then try to go ahead and get the battery tray back in. Out of all the driving in sports cars with turbos that I do, there's no way that I just saw a moped get pulled over in front of my house. The only thing I'll say is this doesn't feel like it wants to screw in. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean these threads up a little maybe. Okay, so it turns out this bolt, which does go right there for the bracket, the threads are kind of messed up. This is from my old thermostat housing. This is brand new, so I know these threads aren't bad because this is brand new OEM. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and thread it in just a couple of threads, just so I can get it set up. That way I'll know, you know, that it's in the right spot and where it goes and all that. So get that in there, and then I guess at a later date I'll just go back, try to find a bolt with the same thread and length, and be able to be on my way with it. But until then, this is about as far as I can get with it. So I'll move these out of the way, so I guess I'll wait to be able to do that. But with this guy in, this guy will connect to this dude right here. That will eventually be clicked in under here. So I guess I could get the battery tray back in at this point. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead and get the battery tray back in. It obviously is not brand new. You can see some of it is kind of broken and chewed up for whatever reason. Unfortunately, I do have to draw the line at some point with what I am gonna replace brand new and what honestly just has to go back in kind of dirty. I did go through and clean it up though, but the cool thing I did notice, take a look. If you look at the tray, there's some writing on it that's etched into it. It says Evo Winter, Evo. And then if you look over here, Evo Wagon. So I guess the battery tray obviously must have just been the same for the wagon and like the regular sedan Evo, but it's just kind of cool, I think, because like we never got the wagon here. but yet we still do share the same battery tray. But with that, gonna throw it in. It's only 2 bolts, shouldn't be too much, and that should wrap up this video. Okay, so there's really only like one way this can go in. So the line for the slave cylinder does go underneath it. This guy kind of just slides right in here. I can't really do it with one hand, but this guy right here will go in this broken harness clip. And then over here, there's another one right there that goes in there. So I'm gonna throw that on, get it ready, and then we'll just bolt it in. Okay, so I do stand corrected. Back here, there are 2 actual nuts that are supposed to be there to hold the battery tray in place. I unfortunately don't have it because you can see it's broken. So I guess I'm just gonna use 2 bolts, but it's pretty straightforward. Just zip these guys in and we should be on our way. All right, so we did get the tray back in, all set, nice and sturdy. I know it is seeming like we're not getting a ton done, but honestly, it's a bunch of little things in my head that have just been kind of bothering me that needed to be done, but I haven't really had the time to do, so I'm glad that we knocked them out because it's a bunch of tedious things that I really don't love to even do because it's not the fun stuff, right? But like I said, I do have the turbo in the mail, so the next video should seem like we're getting a lot more done. Once I do get the turbo and the manifold back on, it's gonna really start to look like a brand new car. At that point, then I can do some of the interesting stuff like the speed density conversion and the ETS intercooler pipes. So getting pretty excited for what's coming up. But if you guys are excited as I am, and you do like the content, make sure you do go ahead, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with what's going on in the Evo and see me suffer trying to fix the Evo with 0 pictures that I had taken from the past. But like I said, with that, it's all I got in this one. So if you do like the content, go and hit the subscribe button. And until next time, peace out and keep wrenching. But with that, I guess that's pretty much all I have for this video. So if you guys me, I hate when I up my words.